Daddy!
No one imagines themselves as being an abusive parent, and every parent has love for their child in some way. And it is so sad when we see that love being interrupted by mental illness, by poverty, by homelessness, or by substance abuse.
Child abuse and neglect comes in all walks of life, all races, all economic stages. It comes at every level.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, honey, how are you?
So a dependency action is when a child has been abused or neglected and needs to be removed from the house. I don't think people understand just how traumatizing it is for a child to be in a dependency action. They're ripped away from the only home they know.
Even when children are sexually abused or physically abused, they love their parents. They love their parents even if their parents do horrific things to them.
So I'm thinking back when we didn't have court-appointed special advocates, and we didn't have anybody that was going and talking to the child. We had the state, and we had the parent, and no one was in the child's world figuring out what they needed.
And so as a judge, I felt really uncomfortable that children may not be getting the help they need because I couldn't get the complete picture. And I felt that CASA could help complete the picture.
CASA provides a service really that no one else does in this community. They are advocates for children who are the most vulnerable children in our society. And a CASA volunteer, and that's what they are, volunteers, will take care of that child and advocate for that child, whether it be in the school system, the court system, or in life in general.
The child, it doesn't have a human face in a cold courtroom, and they aren't even there. We get to know the child intimately.
And they want to know that what they think and say is important.
Yeah, and we tell the children each time, is there anything you want the judge to know? Is there something we can do for you?
When you're the CASA, you really are looking at their whole well-rounded being and doing, whatever you can to make sure all those needs are addressed.
These kids have so many changes. They'll be placed into foster care. Sometimes their homes are changed, and their social workers may change. They may have to change schools.
Usually when they end up in care, it's because they've come from an unstable situation. Trying to help them gather that stability is what CASA and social workers try to do together.
Especially as a social worker, everything's about the parents. Can the parents do this? Can the parents do that? And sometimes people forget about the kids. All these decisions that everybody's making is going to affect this child for the rest of their lives. So I think CASA plays a big part in that.
Systems don't raise children like families do. We keep the court aware that these kids are waiting for an outcome.
No one really listened to me because they didn't really think it was that bad, but Renee, she understood, she knew. Especially after meeting my family, and she was just there for me, spoke up for me when I couldn't speak up for myself.
I believe strongly that she deserved to be in a home that loved her for who she was and would be there for her no matter what. That's what every person needs.
Over and over again, I've seen situations where it was just the CASA who presented a critical fact that I based my decision on.
CASA was probably the one thing that made all the difference in the world in a very tragic situation that we had to work through. They knew that whatever happened was going to be because of what Cruz needed. I look at him now and I think how different his life would be. He's just happy.
The CASA and Gretchen actually had answers and a pathway to success. There was actually hope.
I am their friend, and that's been a privilege.
The kids have adopted you, there's no doubt about that.
CASA's role is vital to every decision that I make. They provide me information that oftentimes I wouldn't otherwise get. I can't imagine doing a dependency not having the CASAs involved.
I'm a firm believer that the more adults that a child has that love them, the better off they are. Because they need models beyond just their own parents, and I try to bring that to them.
That child may not have another one like you who's willing to step forth, provide their time, and make a difference in that child's life.